So, in my mission to create content for you, I've been realizing how incoherent people can be when they write tweets. It's pretty ridiculous. So, this was supposed to be the beginning of a segment where I scroll down Twitter and just see what people have to say about wrestling, and then maybe respond to what a few people are saying. But it's really hard to find things for many reasons, like good things to talk about. Here's a TEMU. Does anybody know TEMU? It's the what's it, like the brand where you can buy cheap stuff, cheaply made things. So like for instance, I've seen two of these where it's like, hey, wrestling fans, exciting news! Pretty Deadly is making a splash in WWE NXT roster, and you know what else is making a splash? Signing up for TEMU with my code 117905610. Get up to $20 in cash rewards, and be like number one, or be number one like Pretty Deadly. Oh boy! And there was another one about Drew McIntyre. This the ballet, the Ain't Ballet Pro Wrestling line has always driven me nuts. Talk to a 30 to 40-year-old ex ballerina or Irish dancer. That's so do TW. I don't know who that is. If they're supposed to be famous or indie or not. But I could keep reading these, and you would see that if you type in wrestling and go to latest, this is pretty terrible. And, when they said be fruitful and multiply, I don't think they thought through about how they were going to raise everyone. Or unless these are robots on Twitter. And, Elon Musk said he was going to get rid of these robots. So shame on him. Because, boy, this is bad. I mean, let's do something more targeted, though. Let's try... let's start with WWE. WWE is the most popular. So we're going to type in WWE, then go to latest. Something about Vince McMahon, fan who owns WWE and doesn't watch any other wrestling and still thinks he knows what wrestling fans want, but doesn't think that something is wrestling. See what I mean? Man, I was hoping to talk about, an angle, a person, but instead I'm just talking about people's terrible tweets or all the bots that Elon Musk didn't take care of yet. Let's see. Some of these are replies too, so it seems kind of out of context. Let's see. Like for instance, this one that says the decision was basically best pay with easiest schedule. It is what it is. That's replying to Slapadabro WWE. Can I find out what he was replying to? Yes. FTR could have fought Usos, Street Profits, or KO. Finally. Finally, a take that we can talk about. And Sami Zayn in WWE. Yet they're back in singles action, losing to Jeff Jarrett with barely a difference since winning the AEW tag titles. And there's a funny meme of Bray Wyatt making a face in his Firefly Funhouse attire. So this is a tweet from Slappa de Bro W. I don't know. And someone said the decision was basically best pay with easiest schedule. It is what it is. I don't know what goes into those decisions all the time. I mean, I get it as most people get it. Like when something official comes out, so I don't like to speculate like I know what's happening. So I'm not going to go there. And like I said, this is not a news podcast, but what I will say is it seems like with Triple H at the helm, this could have been a nice time for FTR to come back. And especially with the brand split happening with Raw and SmackDown, definitely the first point is correct that FTR would have had a nice run through of opponents as a tag team, because that's what they're all about, tag team wrestling. It would have been great. I don't disagree with that. That's a good take. and then losing to Jeff Jarrett. So let's talk about Jeff Jarrett for a moment. So many people have a problem with Jeff Jarrett, just like having matches, being involved, and he's supposed to be like helping out with AEW Creative. So I guess he got hired as AEW Creative to help out AEW and decided, hey, you know what this company needs? More of me. So so now he's like partnered with Jay Lethal and what is it, Satnam Singh? And which is just, it just feels like a hodgepodge of a combination. Now, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal does make somewhat of sense. Given like history from TNA or just from the past. So maybe perhaps that's fine, but even still, it just seems like ECW originals or something. That's what it's giving, So you just mix some people together that used to work at a company and like we all know it. So Jeff Jarrett, boy, I don't have as much of a problem with him wrestling and winning a match as much as everybody else does. I didn't ever hear him make a declaration that he was going to go out here so he could like help put over young talent. I just realized as I'm making this point, I should probably look for the next take that I want to talk about since this one took so long. But yeah, I haven't heard him be that kind of person, and I feel like the modern wrestling fan is such a punk in that regard. They're like, oh, you're supposed to help put the other person over this young. And like, shut up. Like, if you're 50-something and you want to win a match, or, work your way into whatever your dreams are. That's what I feel. And it's like, I feel like sometimes, that whole younger, wrestler put them over argument can be so unrealistic sometimes. Like sometimes it's just not realistic to put someone younger over because it just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, or they're not, I don't know, they're not developed enough, and like their persona isn't developed enough. Their cool points aren't developed enough. I don't know. I have a stuffy nose because I'm coming down from a cold. If you saw my last episode, I was coughing and sneezed, or I don't know. I forget. Something about Randy Orton and Big E getting drafted. So I guess we're talking about the draft. Let's read what this says. Very similar to the issue with WWE's World Heavyweight Championship they just introduced. Feels like Mercedes lost the big one and is now competing for a lesser title as a result. It diminishes the prestige. Okay, so I see what's happening here. I just had some Dr. Pepper. So, hold on. My nose, man. My nose is really getting to me. I'm going to cut this and come back on. Okay, we are crystal clear in the nose area just in time to discuss this tweet. Discuss, not disgust, but I am disgusted at this take. But let's go to the original before I say anything. The New Japan Strong Women's Championship is counterintuitive, redundant nonsense. Hey guys, remember the IWGP Women's Championship that was sold to us as a big deal? That was going to increase the international audience because it would be defended overseas. That was a thing. Oh my gosh, this is a whole paragraph. Let me read faster. That was a thing, right? If I'm not imagining that, why is there a need for another women's championship at the same New Japan shows that were supposed to host the IWGP Women's Championship and attract Americans to stardom? I'm just trying to see if there's a piece of logic I'm missing here. You have the biggest star in the wrestling industry win a championship meant to attract American viewers to New Japan shows because Lord knows they don't sell their own. And a month before a major market near LA, you decide to take the title from her. Someone's really upset. Someone make that make sense for me. So this person's name is Joshi Jams at Glorious Royals, and someone said I got nothing, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what was that original comment? It was about feeling like she lost the big one And it was just like WWE introducing the World Heavyweight Championship, which just happened this week as I'm recording this. Incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. What a stupid thing to say. So I don't believe that Mercedes' contract or plans were made in time at the time of the unveiling of the IWGP Women's Championship. So she couldn't have been the inaugural one, and I guess it doesn't make sense to. I mean, she's just becoming a part of that company. There are other women who could have that title and be the first one. So that's, number one. But then number two is that she did win it. So this is the major difference, right? Like, saying that it's like the WWE Heavyweight Championship, a lot of people have been calling that a consolation prize to not winning the Universal Heavyweight Championship that Roman has. And so some people are upset about that. It feels like a second place trophy. But that's not the case here. Mercedes actually did win the IWGP Women's Championship. And she won it very quickly coming into IWGP. And I wanted to bring up something else, but I won't. But maybe I'll talk about it later. I'll remember the moment where I led you up just to bring you back here. But no, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. And in terms of, or for the case of creating a new women's championship for New Japan Strong, I can see how people would be upset if they're talking about taking the IWGP Women's Championship all across the globe in order for it to gain more traction for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I get that, but New Japan Strong is supposed to be a more focused and dedicated United States base. And that is supposed to be another avenue for getting people interested in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's like, it's still serving the same purpose. It's like a different road that leads to the same place. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more like dedicated eyes or focus or creative on the Strong side. And I feel like to get people involved on the Strong side and to make Strong more popular, that's why you're putting the belt on. Or I don't know if she's going to win the tournament. So there's going to be a tournament at Insurgents. Is that what it's called? New Japan Pro Wrestling Insurgents, where it's going to feature 4 different companies, actually. So CMLL, New Japan, Stardom, Stardom, and AEW. I know from AEW, Willow Nightingale is going to be in the tournament, so that's really cool. She will not be facing Sasha in that in the semifinal round, if you will. I'm not sure if there was. I don't believe there was a large tournament that culminated to these 4. I think these 4 were just picked. I have to find out more about that, how these 4 were just made for this tournament, for this pay-per-view, but she is on the other side, basically, and I'm guessing it's going to come down to Willow and Sasha. And I assume that because they're both, Sasha's definitely big, and Willow is kind of big amongst the American audience, and I believe that's going to be the finals, and that's going to be there meant to attract the AEW crowd, which is a big group of fans, and fans of Sasha or Mercedes Moné, which is big, and New Japan fans and American wrestling fans. So I believe, that's the tournament, okay? And back to the point. The reason why Sasha's doing that, or why they would put the belt on Sasha on Strong, is to help Strong viewership, to make it a bigger contender in the States. I don't watch Strong myself right now, and if I were to watch anything, it would be a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view, like an actual pay-per-view, not a Strong pay-per-view. I did attend one not long ago. It was last year with a friend, good buddy of mine. So actually 2 good buddies of mine, but Anyways, let's see if we can find one more point. I just want to put it on record again just to sum it up. I disagree. I thought the comparison with the WHC was stupid, and I think it makes sense why they would put the Strong Women's Championship on her here, and that way they can have another focused IWGP Women's Champion overseas back at home for them, at least. So one more point. Let's just see if we can find something. No, they just like the stories. Can't even find a decent podcast that isn't WWE biased anymore. Well, you can come here because I am not WWE biased. I do like WWE. I mean, WWE is my home, brand. But I think I think there's so much great work everywhere. And you got to have eyes to see that. You'd be stupid to not see, that Will Ospreay is just incredible. Or that Zack Sabre Jr. isn't, just insanely good. Let's see. Emma, you're a hypocrite. Okay, so this is someone talking to Lance Storm. Laughing my ass off. Lance, you are a hypocritical man. You attack people for having a differing opinion many times and think you have the moral high ground. Then when you're shown blatant racism and throwing slurs onto Mexicans in WWE, you sit there and defend it. I don't know if that's really a take. I don't know if I click this and look at what it's replying to, it's going to be a take. And it looks like he's responding to something, so I'm not going to touch that. But let's see, what else? Is there anything else that is good? I kind of want to talk about this. Okay, sure, this helps. So there's... I'm looking at an image of Stone Cold Steve Austin with the big gold eagle, not the original gold eagle or winged eagle. There's a tweet underneath it that says, the new champion belt is so nice that I really want to have one. Among wrestlers, I think Brock Lesnar deserves to be the first to win this championship belt. Definitely not. Fuck that idea. Although, I like Brock Lesnar a lot. I've been a Brock Lesnar fan for a while. I mean, not like he's my favorite wrestler, but like I enjoy, seeing Brock Lesnar matches and him coming out. And I really enjoyed that he speaks on the mic now. That's pretty cool. But this is more about the new championship belt, right? Or no, it's not. Sorry. It's about, so WWE on Fox has been doing this thing where they post a championship belt, and what they'll say is, who's the first person that makes you that comes to mind when you see this belt. And so I've seen this before, and one of the most annoying things, but like I've kind of been telling myself to allow it, be easy on it, is when a picture of the big winged eagle shows up, which for me, that answers Triple H, by the way. He's my favorite wrestler. So, but back to the point, the big winged eagle picture, who's the first person you think of? And some people put Bret Hart. Now, I'm not like super mad at that, because the big winged eagle is a variation of the winged eagle, and he did have the winged eagle. However, like if you're, born coming up in the Attitude Era like me, like that did not happen. He had the winged eagle, not the big winged eagle. And the top people that you should be thinking of is, I'm not saying you should be thinking of, but you should be thinking of, are Triple H, Stone Cold, The Rock, Mankind, The Undertaker, Kane. Those guys in no particular order, and maybe Kurt Angle. If you really are a Y2J fan, like a big Y2J fan, maybe you could say him, and maybe I could see that. But so he won it right? And then got that decision got reversed. Like he went on an episode of Monday Night Raw, and then he was the undisputed champion and didn't have the undisputed champion belt. He held the two belts similar to Roman, which was the WWF championship and the WCW championship. So like maybe, but Bret Hart was not involved. So basically, they did it again. Let me see if I can find it real fast before I close this out, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close this out. But before I do that, I just want to see if I can find the other ones. Maybe it was on WWE on USA. So I remember what it was, though. It was the undisputed, the WWE Undisputed Championship belt, the one that was introduced to Triple H after he beat, what was it, Kurt Angle and Jericho at WrestleMania. So this was after the two belts. And the question was, who was your first superstar that you thought of when you saw that? Now, for me, my answer actually was The Undertaker, because I remember like Big Evil, like heel Undertaker, post-American Badass. That was definitely a saga. And there were some great matches. Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, but he was a real badass then. And I hated his haircut. I just remember that. So, but someone wrote, and I think they put up a disclaimer. They were like, I don't know if he held it, but Stone Cold Steve Austin. And no, Stone Cold Steve Austin did not hold that belt. He did not ever have that iteration of the WWE championship. And so when it comes to these, like, who's the first person that you think of with this belt, you can't just be like throwing out like names, man. Like, you just can't. Like, what in the world what's up with people? Like, no, you can't just say Stone Cold Steve Austin. He didn't have that belt. You can't just say it because you like him and it's a picture of the WWE championship. Like, there's different eras, and different people held these belts, and it's very memorable, So, like, what? It's just off the wall. So, there's a couple more of those, but I'm going to end this for now. If you enjoyed my takes, please feel free to give a like, subscribe, share, comment, and I'm going to be doing more of these, so I hope that you come back for more. I just like to see what people are saying on Twitter sometimes and respond back to it. So that's all for today, and I thank you for listening in. Thanks.